Inside of iRestaurant data, we have create operations, read operations, and an update operation. What we don't have yet is a delete operation. Let's go ahead and add that before we build another implementation of iRestaurant data that uses our DB context to talk to a real database. So I want something that will return a restaurant, its name delete, and perhaps all we need the caller to pass in is just the ID of the restaurant that they want deleted. Let's provide an implementation of that operation in our in-memory restaurant data. But before I do, I'm going to place the cursor on the class name, hit Control period in Visual Studio, and I'm going to move this type to another file, in-memory restaurant data.cs. So this follows a convention that I'm accustomed to, which is to keep each type in a separate file. And since we're about to implement another implementation of iRestaurant data, I want each implementation and then the interface itself each to have their own file. So now I can put the cursor on the interface and press Control period and say, go ahead and implement this interface. Visual Studio is smart enough to say, oh, I see you don't have a delete method yet. Let me go ahead and add that. It did that here at the bottom of the file. And now I just need an implementation. So let's go out and find the restaurant that we want to delete inside of the collection of restaurants that we have. So I could ask for the first or default restaurant, or given a restaurant R, the ID matches this incoming ID, and then if my restaurant variable does not hold a null value, I must have found a restaurant. So let's go to our restaurants collection and ask it to remove this object. And then we can just return restaurant. And now I should have a project that builds successfully, which it does. And I have an interface, iRestaurant data, that I now need to implement using my Ode to Food DB context. Let's do that next.